Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be looking at one of my favourite methods for charting tennis matches. I've created this video a little bit differently to how I normally do. In fact, I'm going to be watching one of my videos. You may have seen it a couple of weeks back. It's the video where I play against one of my players, Hannah. And whilst watching the match, I'm going to talk you through my thoughts and how I like to chart the points. Let's take a look. So before we get into it, I want to say a big thanks to one of my subscribers, Loretto, who suggested me making this video. Loretto watched my recent video on how to improve your tennis at home and suggested that I make a video showing you charting in action. So thanks Loretto for your suggestion. If you're watching this video and you have other suggestions for me or videos that you'd like to see me make, pop a comment below and I'll see what I can do. So just briefly, for those who are not familiar with match charting is simply taking notes whilst watching a tennis match, and it's a fantastic way for you to help your students to get more value from your feedback to them. It's something for parents to consider when they're watching their kids play at tournaments, but also something for you as a tennis player to consider when watching professional tennis matches or watching your fellow competitors play. There are tons of different ways that you can chart and you can build up the process in your own way. But what I'm going to show you today is a method that I like to use. It's a really good way for coaches to really pinpoint down on an area that they need to work on with their players. And it's called the CDIEW method. Now, just like any other form of charting, it's really important that you pinpoint one area that you're looking for. This way, you're going to get better information and you're going to be able to give tangible evidence to your player when feeding back to them. In this example with Hannah, I'm going to be looking at Hannah's transition ball. And what I mean by that is the ball that she uses to transfer from being in a rally situation to an offensive or an attacking situation. When charting a tennis match, all you need is a notepad or a piece of paper and a pen. You'll see me using my iPad. It's just on the Notes app. I'm purely using it because I can, I'm at home. But actually what I would do when I'm out on the court is I'd use a notepad and a pen. There are lots of apps out there that can help you with charting, but I tend to find when you're using a paper and pen, you can really keep an eye on the match and get a feel for the match as opposed to just putting down the figures. And I'll explain why that's important later on in the video. So as I mentioned, we're going to be looking specifically at Hannah's game, and in particular how she turns her rally ball into attack. So we're looking out for any ball that's in the middle of the court or bouncing slightly shorter or slightly slower, how she transitions from rallying into attacking play. So I'm just going to make a note at the top of the page. Transition ball. Obviously, depending on what you're looking for, you can write a note of it at the top of the page. So all you need to do is just write out the initials C, D, I, E, and W. And just for the purpose of this video, I'll write down what each of the letters stands for. So we've got could. We're looking at could Hannah hit that transition ball? Could she turn rally into attack? Then we're going to chart if she did. So when she was able to do it, did she do it? Then we're going to look at whether the shot was in. We're going to look at if it was effective. So what we're looking for when it's effective is, did it put her opponent under pressure? And finally, did it win the point? We're going to be concentrating during each point to first of all see if there are any opportunities for Hannah to turn rally into attack. And as soon as there is an opportunity, we'll make a tally in the C section. Then, from that same shot, we're going to look at whether she did attack, whether it was in, then if it was effective, did it put her opponent under pressure, and did she win the point from it? It'll be easier to understand once we get into it. So let's play the match, and I will chart live so you can see my thoughts. So let's check it out. So good fun first point, but Hannah didn't get too many opportunities there to attack or transition towards the net, so there will be no tallies from that point. I managed to keep her back and limited her opportunities. So there's an opportunity. It was in. Good. So you see on that point, Hannah could, she did, it was in, but it wasn't effective. Awesome shot. So again, on that one, she could, she did, it was in, it was definitely effective, and it won the point. So you can see there, Hannah had a slightly shorter ball on her backhand. She executed it effectively and won the point. Same again, she's got an opportunity here. Perfect. So again, she could, she did, it was in, it was an effective, and it was a winner. Good, same again. So another shorter backhand, she executed it in, it was effective, and it won the point. Tough ball, well made. Defending. Got a bit tight on that smash, as you can see, but no opportunities for Hannah on that point. Opportunity, yeah, awesome. So she could, she did, it was in, it was effective, and it did win the point. Another opportunity, she's fluffed it. So she could, she tried to, but she missed. It's a good return, if I do say so myself. Great serve. Hope nobody wins the second serve ace from Hannah there. But as you can see, we're slowly starting to build a bit of a picture as to how Hannah is seizing her opportunities to attack. Another good serve. Okay, so there may be points where there are no tallies. If there are no opportunities, then you don't need to make any tally marks. That's an opportunity, she's hit it, it was in. Good. So could she? Yes. Did she? It was in, it was effective, and it did win the point. Unlucky. Opportunity. Yeah. Good. Yes. She did. It was in. It was effective, and it won the point. There's an opportunity. Good, she's hitting that backhand well. I think Hannah's getting frustrated with her first serve percentage there. It's just looking at that transition ball. Interesting. She went for it there, but it wasn't quite short enough for her. Wasn't right in the right position. And same again. So there you go. I charted that first game, and you can see here that Hannah had 9 opportunities, in my opinion. She executed the transition ball, or turned her rally ball into attack, 9 times. Out of those 9 times, she made 8 of them in play. Out of the 8, 7 of them were effective, and out of the 7 that were effective, she won all of those points. So you can already see that when these stats start to add up, you can really start to break down how Hannah is hitting that transition ball. So out of the 9 opportunities that she had, she executed it 9 times. Every opportunity that she has, she tries to capitalise. Out of those 9, 8 of them were in play, so a pretty high percentage of those shots she managed to get in play. And again, out of the ones that were in play, 7 of them were effective, and all 7 of those ended up winning the point. So the stats worked really, really well in Hannah's favour there, and it really goes to show that she is an aggressive player, and she likes to take on that slightly slower, shorter ball when she has the opportunity. So obviously that was just one game from a set. And if you were charting your player or your child or a professional tennis player, you'd want to chart for longer than that. You'd want to chart for a whole set or even a whole match. From the stats we got from my match with Hannah, you could see how effective Hannah was when she had the opportunity to attack. However, when we look at the bigger picture, Hannah ended up losing that game. It was a very close game. There were 20 points played in total. But out of those 20 points, Hannah only had 9 opportunities to attack. Now, although she made those opportunities count, that's not enough opportunities to win the game. The way that I would use these stats and these figures to feed back to my players, in this example, the results were pretty positive. So it's a fantastic tool to go back to your player to give them some encouragement and some confidence and some reassurance that actually, when they get the opportunity, they're executing it really, really well. But it's always important to gain something to help your player to progress further. And what we see from this video is that she only created 9 opportunities out of 20 points. So what we could work on with Hannah is trying to create those opportunities more often. We already know that she's good at executing them, so if she could create more opportunities, she'll win a lot more points. What we would then do is spend some time working on that. Potentially in the next match where I get to chart her, we could look at something different. We could look at how many times she manages to create that short ball rather than how many times she executes the attacking shot. One other point to consider when charting, don't just think about the tallies. In reality, you'll have a lot of time in between each point and at the change of end to write some more notes down. So I would encourage you to do that. Other notes that I would have considered making would be things like towards the end of the game, you noticed that Hannah started making unforced errors. She started going for those big winning shots at situations where maybe she shouldn't have. And understanding the bigger picture outside of those figures can help you to relay the right information back to your player and can help your player to understand a little bit more about what they did well and what changes they could make next time. Like I said, this was just one method. There are lots of other methods, and I am going to make a mini series of videos explaining different ways of charting. But hopefully you got something out of this and seeing me charting in action. I challenge you, if you're a player, to sit down and watch 15 to 20 minutes of a professional tennis match and chart an area of a professional tennis player's game that you want to develop in your own game. This will help you to start recognizing whether the player has the opportunity to execute a given shot and how many times they execute it consistently and effectively. And just by seeing it happen on court, it will help it to come into your game as well. If you're a coach, I challenge you to use this method with one of your players, ensuring it's for the right reasons and for the right area to help them to get as much out of their game as possible. And if you're a parent, charting can be great as long as your child knows that you're going to be charting, and if they have a coach, communicating it with them so you know that you're charting the right parts of their game. Let me know what you thought of this format of video. Chuck in the comments if you've got any apps that you use or any other methods that you use for charting. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd love it if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Take care of yourself. See you soon.